Hey, everybody, welcome to This Board Game Life, episode number 89, titled Gaming Resolutions. I am one of your fine hosts today. My name is Rob, and with me, as always, I got my good buddy, Mark.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Every time it's like the first time, my friend.
It is.
Doing these announcements. I didn't even see you kick that off. But anyway, this is because I was too busy
Pointing to an upside down game.
Yeah, right there. Yes. But yeah, this is a show about games, board games, anything else we want to talk about, including upside down games, and how one of these days we'll figure out how to podcast. After like 950 episodes or whatnot, maybe close to 1,000 for you, right? You think it's 1,000?
Could be.
Because the first Xbox one was like, what, 85? And then didn't we do like 800 something? Or was it 600 for
I don't even
Xbox
remember.
Life?
I don't even remember anymore. It's all a blur.
Yeah.
I know I've been doing this since, in some form, since, let's see, want to say 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about maybe 2007, 2008 when we started the first original podcast, and here we are today. Trying to figure out lighting, and I still look at, it's like I still can't get the lights in my room right. Like the boxes over here are like almost blinding, then it's like dark over here, there's a shadow here that's like right in this spot above my head, and no matter what I do, I can't get the shadows out of here. It's like I need 8 more floodlights. Excuse me, that light up my room. So
how about if you get like one of those ring lights and just hang it around your neck?
Yeah. There you go.
Or get something like one of those gramophones that the dogs wear when they get their treatment of whatever. Just have that, like
the cone of shame.
The cone of light.
Yeah.
I know you're jealous because I have my amazing lighting system here.
Yeah, it's amazing, all right.
Perfectly lit. Notepad ++ and Notepad over there.
Goodness gracious.
But if I was smarter, I'd have something like straight ahead here, but that is a dark screen. But anyway, with that all aside, let's get rolling with the show. A couple things to mention really quick. We have a YouTube channel, if you're unaware, and Mark's been putting up some amazing content over there. Lots of cool videos, unboxings, playthroughs, and such. And then, of course, we've got the audio podcast, and you can find that, on the podcatcher of your choice. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on our website. So there's tons of places to consume our content. You can even listen to it on BGG. There's so many ways to get this board game content. And we hope you enjoy it because we love making it for you guys. And all right, let's get rolling with what we've been playing. I played a bunch of online stuff, not really worth mentioning. How about you, Mark? What have you been playing?
So it's been a little bit since we last recorded, and I was looking back at my list, and I was like, oh, wow, I've played a lot since then. So let's start off with Power Grid from Friedman Freeze. This
classic.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting because it's a friend of mine really enjoys one of my groups that I get into play, and they like the game a lot. And I've never really, I don't know. It's just one of those. I've played it several times now. And there's another game that I got to play recently with the same group, and it's Power Grid Outpost. It's like the brand new version of Power Grid, I think that there was a game called Outpost way back in the day. And then, of course, there's Power Grid, and I think this is some kind of merging of the two or something. But this is, again, Friedman Freeze and Power Grid Outpost is the new release. And so we played this the other day, and I don't know if I was telling my friend Craig, who really loves this game, I don't know if it's the fact that I've played this enough times now that it's starting to make sense, or if it was the changes in Outpost, but I really liked Power Grid Outpost. And actually won the game. Like, this is the first time I've ever won a Power Grid.
Oh, you guys played it wrong if you won.
It must be. must be, but
you screwed up the rules.
We did something wrong because Mark won, but I did really well, and I don't know. Excuse me.
He's getting all choked up, folks.
No,
about his victory.
I'm getting over the flu. Oh,
yeah.
I'm on day 9 or 10 right now. Yeah. So I'm trying to stay hydrated, but I've never won Power Grid, and I always was just kind of happy by the fact that I always seemed to do.
So you played that one correctly then.
Yeah, I always did better. Yeah. You know, as I was seeing myself improve with each game, and I was happy about that. And then this one, I kind of ran away with it. I don't really know why, but this one kind of seemed to click. But I think it's more of just the fact that I've been playing Power Grid a couple of times now that it's kind of starting to come together. But if I was to buy a copy, I would buy the Outpost copy. The way the board's laid out, I liked it better. I kind of liked some of the nuances of the way that you can put stuff out on the board. They're a little different from the original Power Grid. There's a couple tech upgrades that really make sense and just add a lot to the game.
Now, I remember Outpost coming out, but I don't remember the specifics of it. Is it Power Grid in space, like air quote in space, or is it like based loosely off of Power Grid and it's like a separate game that is different?
No, it is. You are colonizing a new planet.
Mm-hmm.
So you are purchasing power plants and shelters and technologies. So instead of having like nuclear power, coal power, garbage, wind, you have just power plants, mm-hmm. and then shelters. And then you actually get a player board now, and you have to put out, you're still drawing like cards, but there's technology cards and shelter cards and power plant cards. So you're just getting a power plant, and that's it. You don't have to, and what you're buying is workers. So instead of all the different resources that are going to cost you more, there's workers that you have to purchase. But then there's technologies that will give you, and shelters that can give you permanent workers instead of the temporary workers, which you're constantly having to buy new temporary workers. So there's discounts. You get you can get a discount with technology, discounts on power, discounts towards your shelters and things like that. And to me, it just seemed to play a little better. And again, I feel like this one's a bit more streamlined. The one thing I really liked was the board was like the printing on the board, and your connections between the different sections were bigger, easier to read, I felt. And one thing that's really cool on regular Power Grid, where your connection costs are always the same, in this game, you have tiles that you randomize, and then you place out as new connection, and then you flip them over to see what the cost's going to be. So your connection cost between two locations will always be different every time you play. So I thought that was a nice way to kind of mix things up.
Okay.
So again, it is Power Grid. It's a standalone game, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a very nice update, and it's probably something that like I probably won't never get Power Grid. I just it's not something I've enjoyed, but this version I really did like it, and this is one I can see myself adding to my collection. So
Yeah, I was just looking. Like game weight. Yeah, so Outpost re-implements Power Grid according to BGG, and Outpost has a 3.3 weight versus a 3.25 on Power Grid OG.
so
So so it should be a little tougher, maybe. I don't know.
huh, it I don't know. It didn't seem to be harder.
Yeah.
It's just, and again, it
still the
might just
same.
be that I've played Power Grid enough times now that it's starting to finally click. And I think that's most of it, more than the game itself, is that I've played it enough that I'm starting to get it. And this everything just kind of came together the other day when we played this. So it's nice to get a
Yeah.
win, but I really actually was enjoying the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
Actually, so there was that original Outpost game from like 20, 25 years ago. And I'm looking here and it says that so Outpost was one of the major inspirations for Power Grid OG.
there you go.
Yeah, so it was the inspiration for Power Grid, and then Freedom on Freeze went and he made Outpost as like an homage of sorts. So, he's kind of, honoring the original Outpost with this version of the game. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I never played the original Outpost, but
Yeah.
I do like Power Grid Outpost. It's a really good game.
Mm-hmm. Very
All
cool.
right. Moving on, some smaller stuff. Played Rainbow. Also, Don't Llama. Love Letter. Excuse me.
You're just getting so emotional about those small box games.
This is ridiculous. All right. So yeah, Rainbow, Don't Llama, Love Letter, and then really big box, Slay the Spire, the board game.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's the opposite. Yeah, because
yeah, it is.
yeah, because you go like Rainbow is like this. Like here's two. I'll say not in the same series, but these are like those all play little mini guys. I don't know if you can see it, like Panda and Fairy.
Yeah.
Which I think it was Fairy I had upside down. So yeah, they come in this little box, and like some of these games have like only like a couple of cards. Like that's it. And then Slay the Spire, it's got more than like 20 cards, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a ton of cards in Slay the Spire.
It should come with one of those little, that, like when you go to school events that, parents are going, whether it's like baseball games or whatever, you see the parents with those, like wheel carts that collapse that they're pulling their stuff with.
Yeah.
You need like one of those for Slay the Spire.
Yeah, there's over 730 cards in the game.
Wow.
With sleeves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, you sleeve them all?
I know you sleeve
probably a huge majority of them.
A huge amount, because all of the cards that you like, all the cards that you have in your hand are upgradable. And so you have to flip the card in the sleeve to upgrade it to its other side. So yeah, the sleeves come included in the game. It's kind of required.
Wow.
So,
yeah. Having sleeved the bulk of my Ascension and Dominion collection, I don't like sleeving anymore. That's not fun.
I don't either.
Yeah. It's for the birds.
Yeah, it's not fun for me. So, um, in fact, that alone would keep me from buying the game just because I don't want to sleeve all those cards.
Exactly. Or I don't want to shuffle all those cards. I hate shuffling.
Yeah, there's a lot to this game, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. Clank Legacy 2, completed more of that. Played some SETI, The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
This is an outstanding game. I really enjoy it. Played some Bear Mountain Camping Adventure. If you remember last year, Rob, when I came to see you, I bought a game called Dice Command, and I finally got to play that. And
we didn't play that one. We played that other all play game, right?
Yeah,
the one where you fill in the numbers and like the pyramid shape.
Yeah,
I forgot the name of it.
Journey to the Top, I think was that one. But I had bought Dice Command and finally got it to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a video of it on our channel you can watch.
Mm-hmm.
But that actually was a fun little war game. I enjoyed it. I finally played Clank in Space. Nick and I played this on the channel one night, so we also have a video of us playing Clank in Space, and we really enjoyed it. It was something I'd been wanting to play for a very long time. I just never got around to it, and I'm glad to finally put that one down as played. Also played some Rebirth. This is the new game from Reiner Knizia. I really do enjoy this game as well. What I really like about Rebirth is it's a simple rule set. The game is really kind of based on luck, but it's because you're just drawing a single tile out of your bag on your turn and you're placing it on the board. So your luck is left up to what you're drawing. But there's a lot of strategy in this game of how you're placing stuff and how you're going to put your stuff out onto the board to try to meet some of your personal goals and your scoring achievement goals and stuff. And it's just really good. I really like this game a lot and can't wait to get it more to the table. Broke out Final Girl and played Slaughter in the Groves. I have a video of this one. This is probably the quickest game of Final Girl I ever played. I got obliterated so quick. I did not like.
I was going to ask, did you win?
Yeah. Oh no! It was over. Like, this boss is so brutal, and it's probably comical to watch.
Oh, jeez.
To see how badly I got destroyed. So, but yep, that's Final Girl Slaughter in the Groves. Mm-hmm. Then I went to a con here. We found out we had a local gaming convention, and it was just a little 2-day thing here locally, and a bunch of us from our game group decided to go check it out. And it was kind of funny because it's like, well, we're going to pay this money to go to this con and sit at the table and play with the same people we play with every week.
Exactly.
But it's like you know what? We wanted to support a con in our local area, so a bunch of us went, and it turned out that it was another gaming group that does this once a year. And so we got to meet them, some really nice people. They had a really good turnout. I guess they more than doubled in size from last year. And they had a really, really good library of games that you can just walk up and grab and just sit down and play.
That's cool.
So I'm looking forward to going again next year. And I'll probably be attending some of their game nights here. I'm signed up for their calendar as well. So,
and you know what? I've heard that argument, like, why go there and pay for hotel and this and that, and yours was local, so you usually don't have that hotel thing. Maybe there's a commute, right, going back and forth depending on how far away it is, but it's like, why do all that when we can just play at like Fred's house or at this game store or whatever it is? But the thing is, right, a con has an atmosphere.
Yep.
which you don't get at home. And you're just surrounded by gamers, depending on how big it is. It's like Gen Con, right? Because Gen Con
Yep.
tickets go on sale soon. But anyway,
Yeah, they do.
It's like Gen Con. It's like, yeah, you can play games at home, but there's something about being like in the big halls and just surrounded by noise. And you know what I mean? It's just
it was noisy.
yeah.
It was noisy.
Yeah.
There was a lot of young adults there.
Okay, that could be good or bad.
I'm being nice by saying adult. A lot of kids, lots of kids.
Okay.
But it at times got a little annoying. But
Yeah.
it was a really good con. Good family atmosphere, which was nice. I liked that aspect of it, that you could bring your kids.
Mhm. Yeah.
But they had a bunch of stuff, and we got a bunch of games played. So a couple of the things that we played that day were Tower Up.
Okay.
Another,
Nice.
I got to play Wiz War. I don't
Ooh.
know if I think you've heard of that one, right? Before,
Oh
Rob?
yeah. Mhm. Yep.
And I actually I actually played it with the developer of the game. So that was kind of cool. Played some more Marvel Dice Throne, Dungeons, Dice and Danger, Kingdom Builder.
Okay.
And then the great part of a con, especially like this one, is people selling their used games.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're at a con, a lot of these games were like just impeccable. Like, as gamers, we take care of our games, right? It's a big thing. So I actually picked up a couple of games myself, but one of the guys in our group picked up a game called Photosynthesis.
Oh, I know that one. Okay.
And we played that there. And I ended up having to pick it up. It was like, I'm like, this was such a neat, unique game.
Yes.
But we did play Photosynthesis, which was really cool. I played some Blank Slate. Another small box game called Deep Sea Adventure Boost.
Oh yeah. Okay. From Link
Games. That was interesting game. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like do your dive and then get back in time before you run out of O2.
Before your son is in front of you, keeps grabbing all these things and taking more and more air, so he can basically, loads his pocket with loot while I'm dying, and he's taking up all the air, and I can't get back.
Take one for the team.
He took a lot of loot for himself. There was nothing about the team in his game.
It was all
but he won.
Not a team. Yeah,
he killed everybody else off. I guess that's one way to win.
There you go. That is apparently a strategy that works.
So Codenames, got some more of that in. Sure. Again, I talked about Power Grid Outpost already. More Clank in the form of Clank Catacombs. And then I got 2 more games off a list of that I had been haven't played, and that was Forever Home. And then I played a nice little dice game, which I did record. I think both of these, Forever Home and Encore, are on our channel. You can watch me play through those. But and I remember I said at the beginning of the Encore video, I was like, "This reminds me of another game," and I couldn't remember it. And I said, "I think it's right behind me." Turns out it's like right there. Right there.
It's hard to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because it's backwards, but it is. That's pretty clever. That was the game I was thinking of. Now, they are very different games.
Yeah, the boxes look identical and the artwork and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, it looks like it's from the same people. I don't know if it is, but I don't think it is. But it's, Encore is a really fun little dice chucker. I really liked it.
Yeah, because that's the one by Incus and Marka Brand, I think, right?
Yes. Yeah. Correct. So.
Yeah. They're a husband and wife duo. They'd make some good stuff. Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed Encore a lot. That was a really fun game. So, but that's what I've done this week, and or past couple of weeks. Yeah, it's been more than a week.
Yeah, it has. It's been a couple 2-3 weeks. That's some good gamings. I'm really intrigued by Outpost. It's been some time since I did any power grid goodness, but if it's the same, I wonder if it's worth it. So let me ask you this: if you have power grid, is it worth getting Outpost? Well, I know what your answer is. It's probably yes, but
Um,
I don't know if it's worth having both of them.
You probably don't need both. If you really like power grid, then I don't necessarily think you need to buy the Outpost.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like my buddy that has everything power grid and every map and all that type of stuff out there. Yeah, probably if you're a real big power grid fan, you're probably going to want to have it.
Yeah.
It
or a Freedom on Freeze fiend.
Yeah. But for like myself, I don't have any power grid, but this is one I would go and buy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to check tomorrow. If I'm able to get out to game tomorrow, I'll see if my store has it, and I'll probably will pick it up. But I don't have a desire to own the original, but I really did like just the way Outpost played. And again, I cannot say, is it the game itself, or is it this, I'm just finally figuring it out and understanding how the game plays. To me, it just flowed better. I liked some of the technology cards, the way the cards worked. I think I liked it a little better. Now, the only real issue we had was like the setting up the cards. It took a while to figure out like how to set the cards up. And I've heard this from others about the rule book being a little rough. And basically it was just trying to figure out how to set up the game was really our only issue. Spent quite a bit of time, and I just stayed out of it because I don't know. But they went and read them like several times and were redoing the cards like, well, this doesn't make sense. And like you'd read it and they'd do it, and like, this can't be right. And then read it again, and I don't know, they finally figured it out. But that was really the only issue we ran into was setting up the card deck. Trying to read through the instructions, it didn't seemed not very clear. So, but the game played great, and yeah. If you don't have one, this is probably the one to get, in my opinion.
Okay.
So
very cool. Okay. Yeah, moving on to news, we had a couple of things just to hit really quick. So this is some stuff that happened, I don't know, within the past, I'd say probably 3 weeks or so. There was kind of like a big lull in between the holidays because, everybody's doing the holiday thing. And here's some cool stuff that happened within the last couple of weeks or more recently. And CMON has a new Civ building game, which is going to release sometime later on this year. It's by Andrea Chiarvesio. I don't know if I said that correctly. But what's interesting is it's a Civ game, a Civ building game, that's going to be for up to 4 players, 12 and up, and it plays in 60 minutes, which I would say is not common for Civ games, because they generally tend to be, like 60 minutes per player or 120 to 240 minutes altogether. So that's going to be interesting to see when we find out some more information about this game. And they've also got Zombicide White Death. So if you're a Zombicide fan, and I know, Mark, you like your Zombicide, at least the core edition, right? The base one.
Yeah, I really love Zombicide. I only have the what is it, the second edition version, and I'm kind of glad that I don't get this played very often, because it would be one of those I want to buy every set that I see.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. I only bought the one, and they're just too expensive.
Yeah.
And it, but yeah, I love Zombicide.
Yeah. So this one is the White Death. So they've got a core set and 4 expansions. So this just came out a couple days ago. So this would have been, as of this recording, 4 days ago. So that'd be like over the weekend. And so it's a fantasy release. Let's see. The base unit has an MSRP of only $109.99. So
That's pretty cheap.
yeah. So I'm sure you're glad you don't have it, because that's just the entry cost, right?
Yes.
Once you start packing on we'll call them expansions, those are like, $30-$40 a pop, $50 a pop. But yeah, the base unit has 6 plastic player boards, bunch of dice, 167 cards, whole bunch of tokens and stuff like that. 1 to 6 players. Takes about an hour to play. Outside of that, Chip Theory Games makes, they have some pretty cool games, right? Cloud Spire, L.L.A.M.A or whatever it's called.
Too Many Bones.
Too Many Bones.
20 Strong.
Elders. I'm drawing a
Yeah.
blank. Elder Scroll, right?
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls, and their like new one that's coming out, and
Yep.
so they have a game called Neon Rain. So that's a dueling card game. And this one is going into retail again on January 24th. So it is technically out right now. And so you can look at that, or look for that at your local retailer, FLGS, etc. So it's cool to me when a company like Chip Theory Games goes into retail, and they get their products to a bigger audience. Because to me, I mean, I don't know about you, but to me, Chip Theory is kind of like a niche, very niche game publisher, just because of how they produce their games, right? Like what? No cardboard is their thing. It's all like playmats, like really nice components, like really nice cards. And
AKA expensive.
Yes. You are not wrong.
The cards are PVC.
Yeah.
Everything is like poker chip quality, like quality poker chips.
Yeah.
Play mats. Yeah, there's no board. In fact, Nick, when he came over last, I was showing him Too Many Bones, and he was like shocked that there was no cardboard, and he was like, "Oh my goodness, everything is a play mat." And I was like, "Yep,
yeah.
Your character boards are play mats. The boards that you're playing on are play mats, and there's poker chips, and I mean, even the box is heavy."
Yeah,
because it's very good quality components. The cards, the player sheets, the manual, everything is just like, your manual, your game rule book is like that what do you call it? Like a fabric.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a fabric type of book, and your cards and your player sheets are all that PVC, and
yeah.
So, AKA expensive.
Yep.
That doesn't always translate well to a retail.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them niche. I'd say they're more of a boutique.
Boutique is better. Yes.
Boutique.
Yeah, I like that
publisher.
one. Yep. Oh, that is right on. Yeah. So yeah, Neon Rain. It's a quick game. It's a battler, right? Player against player, 10 to 15 minutes. And what else was I going to say about this? So yeah, ages 8 and up. So it's not like one of those very like thinky games. So that, to me, that means it's accessible. And on a side note, they're also releasing 20 Strong to retail later on this year. Because I think
that's what we've backed.
Yeah, I think the core. Well, the core goes for like $30, right? And then but the core comes with Solar Sentinels. Because I was
Correct.
trying to think of like how much would that be into retail. So yeah, $30 for the core, and then 20 for like the Too Many Bones add-on expansion, whatever you want to call it. So either way, very cool to see Chip Theory hitting retail.
Yep.
Another thing is kind of cool. So I got a couple things on Catan, because we are approaching the 30th anniversary of Catan, which is interesting that a game's been around for that long. Because, basically games that have been around forever, really, like we think about Monopoly, right? I
Okay.
think Chutes and Ladders, all the kiddie games that we had way back then. But yeah, Catan has been around for some time as well. And they're branching out into the Exit series of games. Have you ever played any of those? They're like the, I don't know, I'll call them like the escape room-ish
Never have.
kind of games. Okay, so yeah, there's like a whole series of games that have been coming out over, I don't know, the past 10 years. So these are very small games. I mean, not as small as, like Rainbow and, the all play tiny box games that we were just talking about. But it's about the size of like Ganz Clever or Encore-ish,
Okay.
size-wise. But it's a cool little game that you solve all different kinds of puzzles and challenges to try to complete some kind of goal, right? So, whether it's like to escape something, whatever the case might be, that is like the basis of the game. So they added a Catan version into this. So sometimes there's usually cards in there, and there's little pieces of cardboard for different goods or items. So it's kind of cool. So it plays 1 to 4 player. You can solo it, and this one, the Adventures on Catan. It says it plays in 60 to 120 minutes. It'll be out this June. So that is very cool. And some of these, by the way, they're kind of like pass and play. I'll call it that. That's not the perfect way to describe it, but basically, once you play it, you kind of know it. Replayability isn't really there, so you kind of pass it on. You give it to somebody else. It's like, hey, here, take this. You figure out the challenges, right? Because once you figure out the challenge and you know the answer, I mean, you're kind of done. That's like saying, how replayable is a crossword puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Minimal. But anyway, so it's going to be releasing in June, $17.95 MSRP. So that is kind of cool. And then I had another thing for Catan. There's a 6th edition coming out. So, you bought the Beatles record on cassette, then you got it on CD, then you got it on, MP3, and now you got it on what? Spotify, YouTube Music, or something like that, right? You got all these versions of it. So as you've been upgrading your Catan experience, you can do it again with the 6th edition. So yeah, originally launching in 1995, with Die Siedler von Catan, as it was called back then. It's going to have a new edition. So same core mechanics. And then there's updated and upgraded components to make it easier to play. The rulebook has been given the treatment with additional images and examples of play. And it's got an MSRP of $49.99. And then Yeah, it looks like they might have, if I read this right, they might have some additional expansions to tie with this because, why not? You got to get the monies somehow. You can't just sell the base game and have people use the old version of the game for expansions. So there's Catan Seafarers expansion for an additional $49.99. So that requires the base game. And the Catan Cities and Knights expansion for $54.99. So that makes, I believe that the expansions are equal to or more money than the base game. But, can you put a price on fun? I don't think so. And then
according to crowdfunding, you can.
Yeah, yes, you can. That's my
it's about $150.
My kryptonite, yeah. So then initial release is going to be filed later on by Catan Traders and Barbarians expansion and Catan Explorers and Pirates expansion, as well as allowing you to go to 5 or 6 players. So you can look for that later on this year. If you're looking to refresh your Catan, or if you're looking to jump into it for the first time, why buy that old version when you can get the new hotness? So yeah, maybe your big son will like this. Or he'd be excited because I know he likes Catan, right?
Yeah, he does.
The tall guy. Okay. All right, and then Thames and Cosmos are coming out with a new edition of Caesar and Cleopatra. This is an old game by Wolfgang Lütke. Man, this game came out in 1997 and was one of the it was a big seller back in the day. It says here 350,000 copies. So that was a lot. 30 years ago, the hobby was nothing like it is today. Heck, gaming, like board gaming, is nothing like it even was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So, Caesar and Cleopatra is coming out. It's a 2-player game, plays in 40 minutes, and it's only $19.95 retail. So this is one that I'm probably going to be picking up. But it's going to be out in the fall. So, you got to get a whole bunch of gaming going on. And I wonder if we'll find this at Gen Con. So if it's going to be at Gen Con, I'll probably pick this one up for sure. And it's a nice, refreshing game for only $20 when, things are approaching $80 and more. So it's nice to get a deal on a game.
It is.
Yeah. And I don't think we talked about this, but FinSpan is coming out next month in 2025. Have we talked about FinSpan at all? Because I
think we did.
Yeah, because it's tied to the Span series of games, right?
Yes.
Wingspan.
It is a Wingspan game.
Wormspan.
FinSpan.
Yeah. Yeah. So
this game. Well, full disclosure, it went on pre-order on the 20th of this month.
Yep.
And I pre-ordered it. So
okay.
With the fancy squishy egg upgrade. But a lot of this game, when they announced it, really got a lot of hate.
Really?
It was weird. I couldn't understand it. It was like people were like making cracks and like how, they're just trying to milk the franchise. And I was sitting here thinking, going, how many versions of Ticket to Ride are there? How many versions are there of Catan? How many different versions of, any Marvel game? Zombicide,
Azul.
we were talking about. Azul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, these game companies do this all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why Stonemaier was getting so much kind of hate out the gate.
That's what
It
we
just
do on
doesn't
the
make any
internet.
sense.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess people are just, immature, but I thought it was funny when I first saw it. I thought it was a joke, but it's a real game,
Oh,
and it is.
Finspan. Yeah,
Yep,
it's
it
not
is.
April yet.
No, but it is. It is a real game. It is. You can pre-order it now from the Stonemaier website. And again, one thing I like about Stonemaier, it's like, hey, we don't do the crowdfunding. Come to our site and pre-order it if you want, and we'll ship it out to you. I like that so much better than like, hey, in 2 years, if you give us your money today, we may give you a game that'll look nothing like what we said it was going to look like.
Yeah, it's like get a game sometime.
Yeah. So,
And then 2 years later, you get a box in the mail, and it's like, what is this?
yep. Or you're sitting
Yeah.
here like myself going, supposedly 3 games of mine that I've backed have been shipping for weeks. I've got no notification. I see all these other people talking about their copies and showing pictures, and I'm sitting here going, I don't even have a shipping notice yet. But then again, I can't talk when I know I got my Castles of Burgundy a month before someone else that I know.
This is more than 1 month.
So
It's 2+.
So that is a little frustrating part of crowdfunding. When you see everybody else getting it, you're sitting here going, "Where's mine?"
Yep.
So
Yeah, but so Finspan, it's created by David Gordon and Michael O'Connell. And you compete as marine researchers diving into the depths. So, yeah, this is going to be releasing in February. So that is right around the corner.
yep.
And let's see what else we got. So speaking of anniversaries, Catan has its 30 coming up. Patchwork has a 10-year anniversary.
Huh.
So time to get a new version of Patchwork.
Yeah, no.
For you. And you're like, no, pass.
There's another one, Patchwork. How many versions of that? There's a bunch of versions of Patchwork,
It's
but
like
nobody's
a Halloween
complains.
one, a regular one,
The Valentine's one, the Americana version, but no one cares about that. But boy, Finspan, there are people losing their mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So
anyway,
the anniversary edition released last week again. So it's another one that released 4 days ago over the weekend. And this one, it's got all new illustrations, components. It's got thread spools as time markers, a sewing machine as a neutral token, and a patch with anniversary design, and a patch with an anniversary design. I can't talk. Apparently, with a dragon and the year 2024, including gold finish on the box. So, so that should be out in retailers for $35 MSRP. So that's kind of neat. And then I think this is the last one that I'll cover. So a number of years ago, Grail Games make some really good games. They're the guys that bought out one of my favorite IPs, properties, whatever you want to call it, Manhattan Project. They picked it up from Minion Games when the owner of Minion Games passed a couple of years ago, and Grail Games did awesome. Like they actually brought to light a Kickstarter that was in process when James Matthew from Minion passed. So that was really cool, and so Grail Games is now forming a strategic partnership with Frostbite Games after a partnership with Matago. So it's cool to see some of these companies join forces, become stronger companies, and have more resources to put out the games that we like. The new game that's coming out from, I guess, this collaboration is the Manhattan Project Energy Empire. It's going to be
that's not a new game.
No, but it's the first one that's coming out from them in this partnership, and it's going to be on Kickstarter on February 28th.
So are they just going to do a reprint of it?
That's a good question. We'll kind of have to see what happens with this. I would imagine it's going to get a bigger treatment because, Minion was a smaller company. It was basically for a long time like a one-man show kind of. And I would imagine this is going to be all upgraded and it's going to have some new goodness. And yeah, Energy Empire is not an old game by any means. I mean, it was probably made within the past 10 years, maybe. Actually, I got to look it up here.
I think it was 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
Yep.
So, because I think you've played that one, right? Because of your connections.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to reach out to him today and say, hey.
Ask him.
I hear this is, I'm going to share the article with him. Yeah. Say, what do you know?
Exactly. Keeping secrets. Actually, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I would imagine the designers would remain constant. The publishers might change artists and so forth, but the designers and the development team would probably stay.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, nope.
No.
So, some changes there, and let's see. Yeah, looks like they got a couple other games coming later on this year. So Grail Games is going to be focusing on small games and medium weight games. And they're going to be working on Valedictorian, which is going to go on Kickstarter later this year. Valedictorian's coming from Frostbite, and it's done by the designer of Sagrada, Adrian Adamescu. And Sparks designer, Florian Perluca. So that's about it for the news. Just, again, some stuff that's kind of interesting, some happenings that you may have heard about, you may have missed, but you didn't miss it now because we just talked about it.
You missed the biggest anniversary news ever in board gaming. I can't believe you missed this.
What's that?
Hasbro has announced new product types for Monopoly coming in 2025 for the game's 90th anniversary. I actually saw this somewhere else too, but they're coming out now. The game line's going to have expansion packs that they're going to breathe new life into the classic game. And it says each expansion pack is going to add new cards, rules that speed up the game, and other twists and turns. The first expansion to be released that are even rules that allow players to buy the bank itself. So their first couple expansions are called Monopoly Free Parking, Jackpot Expansion, which is probably, they even said it's inspired by decades of consumers developing their personal house rules. So in other words, they're going to sell you something that we've been playing for 90 years already.
We've been playing it wrong.
Yeah. They got Monopoly Go to Jail and Monopoly Buy Everything are coming. And then I guess the game's going to get there's an all-new, of course I said the all-new expansion packs, but a completely redesigned classic board game that they're going to come out this year. So I just thought that was interesting. After 90 years, they're going to now have expansion packs for Monopoly.
Yeah.
So I had to go there. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Actually, there was... What the heck was it? There was a version of Monopoly that I got from my son that was actually good.
That was actually good.
Yes. I haven't played it in so long. It's up in his room because, all these shelves over here, my shelves.
Yeah.
He's got his own. There was a version of Monopoly called Monopoly Gamer. That was it. It's actually decent. And it had like upgrade packs.
Oh, wow.
It had different characters like Mario and I forget some of these other ones. But Nintendo characters, Bowser, Mario, Princess Peach, Yoshi, Donkey Kong. And then you would buy these like little surprise packs. Like those things, you get that foil pack and then you open it, you don't even know what's in there. It's like, oh, look, a surprise. It's not the one I wanted. I got to buy 10 more to try to find the one that I wanted. But yeah, that's a good one. Anyway, enough of that. So where were we with,
takes us
with the show?
Takes us to our main topic of what our gaming resolutions. It's this, start of 2025. You always have to have a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And, hopefully we won't break them. I held on to mine last year. I set the one of playing 400 games in a year, and I shattered it by doing over 500. And this year I was like, I don't think I'm going to set a gameplay this year, but I went and looked at my kind of shelf of shame, and I took off. So I made a list of everything I have not played, and then I removed like expansions. Like I need to make it manageable.
Right.
I want to play every base game at least that I own. And I ended up with a list of around, I think it was about 35 games, which really isn't bad.
No, not at all.
Well, I've purged quite a bit, so I think some things went in the purge, but I have started on that list, and that's where I've actually got a couple. I did the earlier I mentioned Dice Command. I did a video of it, and so I'm doing this Shelf of Shame video series that I've added to our channel.
Sure.
And it's going to be me playing through some of these games that are on my list. And so, excuse me. So far, I've done Dice Command and Deep Sea Adventure Boost, which I didn't do. That one I didn't do on the channel because that was played with a group of people. But Forever Home and Encore were also part of that, and those you can watch. But I'm excited to like go down my list and start checking things off.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? You got any resolutions?
Yeah, so I've got like a two-parter. I can't say that I'm going to have like one huge all-encompassing, but I'm going to say they're more like nuanced and things that I want to improve. So it's been some time now where I have not been going to a regular gaming group, and my gaming has been very chaotic. Meaning it's like here, there, get a game in here, get a game in there, It's like you luck out, you spend some time with your gamer friends, and then you get the unwilling participants. It's like, hey, let's go over to Rob's house and grill. It's like, okay, everybody's finished eating. Look, everybody, I got a game. And then you hear the grumbling. But the one of the two things that I'm really looking forward to in 2025 is I want to get to the point of where I get either like regular gaming time on a consistent basis, because that's one thing that I know you do a lot, and that's freaking awesome. So, and I miss that. I miss going to the groups, and you get somebody that brings in the game, and it's like, hey, it's like Fred's gonna teach it this time. I'm so used to teaching every game, and that's a lot of pressure. It's like a
Yeah.
lot of pressure to teach everything and then to remember the games, because I don't know if I'm just getting old, but
You are.
yeah, that's true. But it's like it's at the point of where like so much is going on. If I haven't played a game in like 2-3 weeks, I struggle to remember the rules on it, because everything runs together. And sometimes even with games that I've played so many times because they're like a favorite game of mine, it's like I really struggle with the rules until I get like, oh yeah, I remember how this goes. But anyway, yeah, so one of my gaming resolutions is to get consistent gaming with hopefully solid gamers. And what I'm hoping is going to be week 1 will be next weekend, or not this weekend, like in 3-4 days, but the following weekend. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. And then the second part, or did you have more, or should I just rattle off both?
No, that's really. If I made a second one, would be to make sure to dive into some heavier games, which my gaming group is forcing me to do. So, for just so you know, one of the guys posted today that he's bringing Evacuation tomorrow, and it's rated 3.99. So,
ooh,
yeah, it's I got to look and see if I can get an idea of how to play that. But so that would be my other thing, is to play more things that push my boundaries and open my eyes up to more gaming styles.
yeah.
But that's it for me this year.
Yeah, I think maybe we should push ourselves on this board game LifeCon number 2 is maybe we should learn something together, like Twilight Struggle. We can do it. And Evacuation. Yeah. Actually, Twilight Struggle was the number 1 game on BGG for years. It's about the Cold War. It's a card game from GMT. And by the way, Evacuation of Vladimir Suchi, that's a good game. Yeah, 3.99. Look at that. I just pulled it up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch How to Play.
Yeah.
So I can have some idea, going a little bit armed.
Yeah, it's got a couple nominations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meeple's Choice and Golden Geek Heavy Game. Yeah, but Vladimir makes some cool games. Definitely. Last Will, Shipyard. There's some good ones. Underwater Cities. He's a thumbs up designer. But cool. Yeah, so my second thing that I just wanted to mention is this year I really feel like I need to rein in how much I spend on the hobby. And I have improved over previous years, but I just like throw the money at like Kickstarters lately. I haven't been going to the game stores as often, and a lot of times when I go in there, I don't pick up anything. And that's sometimes for the wrong reasons. That's because I have other new stuff already.
Yeah.
Because FLGS sometimes, they're a little laggy with how soon they get stuff. And it's like, oh, none of this stuff's interesting to me because I have it all because I got it like 2 months ago when it first came out. So that's for the bad reasons. But I just need to rein that in a little bit. And the longer you're in the hobby, the easier it is. So there is that. But I'm still getting caught up in some Kickstarters. Like I just backed another one today. And I don't think that was my first one for the year. I think that was my second one.
What'd you back today? Because I backed something as well.
Well, I don't even remember what the heck was it. Oh, it was the All Play.
Did you get all of them?
No, I didn't.
I backed Twinkle Twinkle was the only one I got.
Okay, yeah, I backed the Merchants or something.
Andromeda or something like that, or
yeah, Merchants of Andromeda was that the name? But yeah,
sounds right.
Yeah, I was looking at him. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to back all 3 or 4, just because I was thinking to myself too.
But you get that coin if you do all 3.
Yeah,
it gives you a free $7 game later down the road.
No, it gives you a $7 game for $4 when you pay for shipping. That. Yeah,
there you go.
But I enjoy their games. I'm just trying to be selective because all 4 games they were over $100, so it wasn't inexpensive. It's not like the little form factor games where you can get like a couple of games, like like Mountain Goats and some of those where they're like $20 a pop. These are more substantial games, with a higher cost, which is to be expected. But yeah, I just need to rein some of that in. And, I got my weakness for Queen games. And, the Stefan Feld collection. I know that's coming. I'm like, please, just do 1 this year. Don't do 2. Spread it out. Don't spread it out to 1 a quarter. Come out with 1 this year, 1 next year, because I'm committed to getting the deluxe versions because I can't stop now.
That's right.
It's like I can't have 8 deluxe and then go to 2 regular or whatever. That would just be horrific. But yeah, I just want to be a little more aware of what I'm spending, because especially Kickstarter, Kickstarter, GameFound, all of those, you just pour money into it because it's a quick hit, right? It's like you're looking at it, this looks good, pledge, boom, you're done. It's like you don't have to go anywhere. And then half the time you forget half of the stuff that you order.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was just my other thing. So altogether, I just want to get regular gaming on the books, and I just want to just get it more under control. Not that it's bad. I've gotten it more under control from the first couple of years. I'm not in your phase. Although I think I would assume, based on us talking, that you've reined your stuff in a lot quicker than I did. I went many years before I think I even got to where you're at. But that's my thing.
Today I did the same thing. I'm like, I looked at all 3 of those games and I'm like, only 1 interested me. And I still thought about buying the all-in, getting everything. And I'm just like, I also looked at 25th Century Games has a crowdfunding going right now with like 11 games that are like imports.
Oh, wow.
That they're bringing in. And I was looking at it and I'm just like, I can't just buy it for the sake of buying it.
Yeah.
I really tried to, is there anything I'm interested in? Nothing really looked that interesting to me. And I'm like, I don't need them,
Right.
I've bought I've spent a lot of money on some Kickstarters. I'm still waiting for one to show up. And it's like every day, it's like I'm sitting here going, is it coming today? Is it coming today? And it's like, it's annoying me because it's almost like I feel like it's consuming me every few minutes. I'm looking, did I get a shipping notice? I'm going into the people asking questions like, where is my copy? You're supposedly shipping these. I don't have any info. I spent a lot of money, and it's like, then I'm worried. What if it's damaged? What if I don't get everything? I'm specifically talking about my Marvel's X-Men Dice Throne All-In. I mean, this is going to be a huge box when it shows up.
Yeah.
And I think all in, it was like $450 or something. It's like, I can't believe it's like, I'll sit here and going, what? I spent how much on a board game? Like I remember I had to go back and cancel one of them because I did the same thing. I'm like, when did I buy this? Like, I think it's a late night Kickstarter browsing. It used to be the Amazon, stay off Amazon at night. Now it's like stay off GameFound and Kickstarter at night. Otherwise you'll spend $500 and not know it.
So, I was just looking at that 25th Century one, $225.
Yeah.
11 games. I don't even want to know what the shipping is.
Supposedly it's one flat rate. So they are cutting a deal on the shipping, supposedly, but still,
we'll let you know when we ship what it's going to be, probably.
Yeah.
One of those.
So,
and I get it.
But there's so many things that we have, like, like you said, I've got the, what do I have? I got the Project Manhattan Energy Empire sitting here, and I've my copy signed by one of the developers. So, but now it's like, ooh, there's going to be a newer version. It's like, oh no, I don't need to buy another version. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, what?
Yep.
And now I'm going to keep my eye out for it.
See,
I don't need to.
No, that's where I say, like, if it's a game that you enjoy, then by all means, right?
And that's Dice Throne. I will go all in. They have another campaign that I've already gone all in on as well on that one. So that's a franchise I'm in. Mm-hmm. I will buy everything all in, but others we've got to rein it in. Like, you can only play one game at a time. One of my friends in my game group always said, he kind of subscribes to the philosophy of, if someone in the group owns it, he doesn't have to, because he can just play our copy.
Yeah.
Which honestly is a great strategy.
But what if you want to play it and they're not there?
But when is that ever, well then, but what are the odds, especially if I'm always playing with my game group.
I know. Yeah.
So
the marketing departments don't want us to think, they don't want us to think that logic.
That's right.
And I get it. Yeah. So anyway, those are my two things. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping those are both within reach and they're doable.
Oh yeah.
So, okay.
They are. We'll work on it together.
Yeah, there you go.
You call me before you purchase something.
Yes.
I'll try to talk you off the ledge.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Mark, I want to get a new version of I don't know, Castles of Burgundy. Oh, it's out. Send me the link.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
Usually how it goes. Yeah.
We'll get 2 copies instead of 1.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Rob, I want to get the new edition of A Planet Unknown, which I still haven't gotten yet. And
mine, I'm like, they started shipping on the 16th. It's the 28th. I've yet to get it. Yeah. And I'm a little concerned. I've seen a lot of complaints about it.
Uh-oh. Quality? Or
sounds like it.
Oh, super. Oh, whatever.
I mean, I watched an unboxing from the company. I'm wondering if people just didn't understand what it was going to be. because I saw the unboxing from the company, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, this looks great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. People are
Yeah.
never happy,
Yeah, it could be.
but I want my copy.
Yep.
So
But yeah, it's
yep.
like, hey, Rob, I want to buy the new Planet Unknown. It's like, oh, they got a 2-copy discount for
Yeah.
shipping if you buy 2. What's the deal? I'll sell you the money.
Yep. Oh,
Anyway, that's all I had for episode 89. You got anything else you want to add, or?
I'm good.
Okay, awesome. Okay. So thanks for listening, everybody. This has been this Board Game Life episode number 89, gaming resolutions. We'll see how we stuck to these throughout the year. And it's already almost 1 month down.
Yeah.
This year is going like crazy.
Yep.
All right. So I'm Rob. Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you all in 2 weeks.
And Mark, we'll see you at the table. Thanks.